Hatep.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome you all to our question and answer classes. My name is Nasud Atun Hutep Imre Atumreye. I'm a student of our master teacher, Pablo Noon, also known as Malachi Kobe, New York. We have these classes for the last 40-something years where we ask questions and we answer them the best of our ability, according to our doctrine. So you can ask any question you want dealing with our doctrine. This is what we're here for. So anybody got any questions, step up to the podium. I'd be happy to, answer your question to the best of my ability. Yeah.
All right, this is a question from some of our online viewers. This is from Najee Harris. And he asked, he wants to know, he says, how do y'all get the information from Dr. Malachi if he's in prison? Like, don't they worry about what information he's giving?
Well, Doc, been teaching for like the last 40 years, so, we know his doctrine, you know what I'm saying? And so what happened is the master teacher have left a lot of information, over the years that he wrote. And a lot of the stuff that we're reading now in the Patriarchs and the actual facts, or a lot of the stuff that's been revisited, but it's been updated. So when the master teacher, has visits, he breaks down a lot of stuff to them, and the sisters memorize stuff from memory. And then what happened is a lot of the stuff that we get, like the updates, and a lot of the letters that he writes, he'll update the old information and give us more clarity and more information inside of it. So basically when you're reading the Patriarchs and stuff, it's newer information, but it's been updated from the older information. It's just that it's not the religious content that we were dealing with back in the days. Now, when you take the religious stuff out of the old books, you got all Wu-nuwaup. You know what I'm saying? But what happened is that when we were Muslims, Christians, and Jews, all we cared about was Muhammad, Jesus, Isa, Moses, Muhammad, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we overlooked a lot of the sciences that was inside of the older scrolls. You feel me?
Could you give an example? Like you said, you take the old doctrine, take the nuwopic, the religion out of it?
Like when Pop would talk about the Illuminati, Pop would talk about like science of healing. You have a book called Mysteries of God Revealed.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of those books were on next levels. You know what I'm saying? The Mind book, Your Potential, and there's a few other books. You know what I'm saying? Like, Science of Creation, the Supreme Mathematics series. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it was breaking down all extraterrestrial information. If you notice that a lot of the Patriarchs that have been coming out, there has been a lot of stuff going more into Anunnaki than in the Padadaro doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And then what happened is, a lot of people don't understand, if you were to study the holy tablets, the black book, you feel me? You'll see how the master teacher had this information already in there, but he didn't give you clarity on it because it was for a certain school. Now that we're on another level mentally, we can go back and revisit this information and actually see who's who is talking about when they're talking about the gibbon monkey being bred from the Bataites. You know what I'm saying? But this is dealing how the Caucasian race was created. You feel me? But then in the book it said these Bataites were the beings that came from out of water. Now that we're in a higher level of information, we know this to be the Ogdogs or the Kaminu, the 8 beings that came from out of the waters. You know what I'm saying? Because we was reading the holy tablets from a religious perspective, we thought, okay, the gibbon monkey, that's us. But it never said it was us. It said that they took the seed of Ptah and crossbred it with the Homo erectus to create the Adamite race, the red and ruddy race. Which, what happened is when the master teacher said back in the day that the Caucasian, that you see mostly on the earth day, only go back 6,000 years ago. He was talking about the earth Caucasian, which is the Adamites. He wasn't talking about the ancient Caucasian that the Fugaras, who were back 8,500 years ago, that you find inside the holy tablets. Now that we're getting up-to-date information from the updates and also from the visit that his sister and his wife is going to go see the master teacher, he gives them bills when they ask him questions, and then when they go back and they give it to us, and we able to put the pieces together. You feel what I'm saying?
All right. Question.
Yeah.
The 8 Ogdos, are they a species of reptilian?
No. When you say Ogda, a species of reptilians?
Yeah, what are they? You said the 8 Ogdos that came out of the waters, are they a certain species of reptilians, or who are they? What are they?
What happened is this. When the native Riskians came here to Earth, they could not survive in this one solar system. So they had to create and genetically engineer a new body for themselves to survive on this planet, right?
Yeah.
By this being a aquatic planet, because you have to remember that one time this planet was called Tiamat because it's dealing with, this is 75% of this planet is water. You feel me? This planet is conducive for reptilian species. You feel me?
Sure.
So what happened is the scientist named Atum took one of the deities from Maldek, what you call the Maganos. You know, the beings that lived on Maldek, the dragon race?
They were, yeah.
And used one of their deities to put the DNA of a Riskian inside the DNA of that dolphin. That's why the master teacher said over years ago, the word dolphin means womb. You feel me?
Sure.
You can find this in the Black Book and also in the Holy Tablets. And some of the Supreme Mathematics where he goes in detail about that. When they transported the dolphin or the Vulcan deity here to Earth, this is why they said that we have a close relationship to dolphins and whales, human beings, right?
Sure.
This being gave birth to the germ or the seed in the ocean, right? And they knew that it's going to take millions of billions of years for this being or the seed to germinate and evolve into another species. This is something they genetically engineered inside the laboratories, and you know what I'm saying? So what happened is when this being was here, it was taking in all the different properties of this planet Earth. This is what I was talking about years ago, or months ago, when I master teacher was breaking down nature of nature. The Riskians had to create a false nature coming from the original nature in order for them to survive here on the planet Earth.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Meaning that when this gene is not of this planet originally, right?
Right.
That means it has a different nature. So when it germinated inside of the ocean, the actual seed fused in with the planet's nature, right? And it gave birth to a new being.
Like a hybrid.
That was exactly, but this being now was grown by the planet. That took billions of years of evolution. You feel me? This is why when you look in the Holy Tablets, it was breaking down, and I'm gonna go to it later on. Hold on, matter of fact, it should be in chapter, I think is that the slave or the scientist? We're talking about the protozoa and the amoeba and the Dimetrodon and stuff.
Oh, that's chapter 1.
That's in creation?
Yeah, chapter creation.
Yeah, in the book of creation, it goes into about how the seed was planted and how it germinated in the ocean as a protozoa, a single cell amoeba, and it kept evolving. Then it broke it down into two different groups. One is where the animal species came from, the other one is where the humanoid species came out of. Huh?
Can you read it?
I don't have it right now, but when I get to it, I'll find it for you. It's a long chapter. Hold on a second. I usually keep notes on it, but hold on a second. You said the creation, right, Matt?
Yeah, chapter creation. I think it's
It's
chapter 2. Yeah, the opposites and synapses.
Yeah, that's the two species, exactly. And one of them was the Dimetrodon. You hear me? When the Dimetrodon came out of the water, it evolved. It kept evolving. This is why in one of the updates, that master teacher said that we were in the waters as aquatic beings with scales, right? And we came out of the waters. That's why in the Holy Tablet said that we came out of the waters as amphibians. And then we came on land, we became reptile. You feel me? So we had these scales at one time, right? Eventually, but this being was actually evolving into what you call a humanoid. This is why in the book of this creation and also the book of the slave, of the Holy Tablets, it was talking about how these beings were going to evolve from aquatic to or proto-mammal. You feel me? And these are known as your Pt.1s. You're saying the prehistoric man before the other races were created. What happened is when the Anunnaki and the Pleiadians came here to planet Earth, they took the Pt.1s and used their genes to create other species from them. When they crossbred the monkey with the Pt.1 gene to create the Adamite race. You feel what I'm saying? So when it's talking about the Ogdogs, it was talking about their form when they were germinating here on the planet Earth. You understand what I'm saying? So the reptilian gene will be a part of it because they were grown through a reptilian type deity called the Maldek, the dolphin, or the Maldekian deity. You understand? So this is the reason why it was always associated. This is why sometimes you see the serpent images in ancient Egypt of the Ogdog. You see 4 females as a frog and 4 males as a serpent. You know what I'm saying? One is reptile, one is amphibian. So it breaks down how even in ancient Egypt they were showing you drawings or pictographs or showing you about the creation of human beings.
All right.
Did that answer your question, though?
Very well. This question is from a brother known as Kansure Amun.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know something about the golden children. He said, are the golden children from Risk? If not, where are they from?
In the book, the golden children, you said what? Yeah. You can go through it though, but in the book called The Golden Children, you gotta understand that This is our ancient ancestors. And the master teacher said that these will be new souls that will be coming through after the 1970. And we'll be breaking down how these are, you know what I'm saying, special beings that were sent here. Where we at? If you look at the people born from 1973 to 2003, the comparison with the children before then and after then, it will testify that there's a tremendous difference. They look different, act different, think different. But to go into your question, you talk about these are the Riskians, right?
To
Yes.
what book were you just reading out of?
This is out of the Golden Children on page 6.
Okay.
But what happened, yes, they are Riskians, right? But these are Riskians that had never came here before. These are the souls by way of Orion, and some of them by way of Sirius, Sephat, and Sahu. You know what I'm saying? And what happened is these are our ancestors, but they never came here. Don't mean they wasn't somewhere else before. You feel me?
Okay.
A lot of the Golden Children, this is their first time here. They were specially bred to come here to deal with the new time, because what happened is, like as our master teacher said years ago, a lot of people became passive over the years. This is why if you look at the old civil rights footage, you see a lot of the black people being beaten by the Caucasian, dogs sicked on them, hosed down, you feel me?
Beaten down.
You know what I'm saying? And all type of atrocities that you say, oh, that's kind of vicious, you feel me? But what happened is, they had to send a new type of species or a being soul here, which is a warrior soul. This is why the new generation are more warlike. I ain't trying to hear that, okay, whatever. And what happened, a lot of them were distracted by the music and the different things that the Caucasian put out. Oh, I gotta go party, YOLO, you only live once, I do what I want. You feel what I'm saying? Or I can drink as I want, do this, do that. I'm partying, it's a 24-hour party. And people does not understand, it's like you're missing the essence of life. Like, this is what you're gonna do all forever. Just keep drinking, keep smoking, have sex, party, right? And you will not appreciate the party, because if you do it so much, you start becoming what? Used to it.
Yeah.
So then now you're looking for something bigger. Okay, I need something bigger than the party. Okay, let's go, how about orgy? Then you get past that. Then you get past, it's not same sex as with a woman. Then you start venturing into animals and swinging and all type of different stuff. You feel me? That you would normally do in your name of life, but the drugs and you get to the point you're not feeling anything no more.
Chasing a bigger high.
Huh?
Chasing a bigger high.
Exactly, and it's like you're aspiring, you're out of control, and then when you finally realize that you lost your mind, then they go through getting called rehab. They go to church. You feel me? Like, by that time you're like 45 years old, you're out of shape, you got health issues. You know what I'm saying? You're messed up. And then you want somebody to love you now after you didn't live your life, and this person has nothing to share. Like, you're damaged goods, a lot of baggage, but you want to sit there and want this man to love you after you done gave everybody your loving.
Yeah, like one more team, man.
Which one is that? Okay, I see it right here.
Dealing with the,
Yeah, I'm gonna answer the other question, but I'm giving it back with the Golden Children. So yes, they are Riskians.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But let me get back right here. The first question.
What do you read? What page is that?
This is on the Holy Tablets. Holy Tablets is chapter 1, tablet 8 to 7. Tablet 8, matter of fact. It's called Life Forms of Tiamat. Lo, your planet Earth, called the Earth, is within the 18th galaxy called the Milky Way, because it's this shaped dense mass of stars, which has millions of stars and light from the planet Earth, from the planet called Earth. The sun's stars and the reflected light of the moon from the sun produces the much needed illumination for the Earth. One takes up where the other leaves off. Yet this is only made possible by the motion of these heavenly bodies. It will take 30,000 years to go from the Earth through the Milky Way at Earth speed. And I'm really going to get into, this is really going to,
that whole chapter is pretty long. But
it is pretty long. But if anybody has a holy tablet, it actually will post it up probably later on to show you the actual reading of it. But this actually goes into detail about how the first life form it's the different life form. The word amoeba is from the new Greek word, which means to change. And fungi are single cell, multicellular organisms that extreme enzymes that actually dissolve their food and then absorb their food through their thin cellular wall. However, this is your beginning, a beginning unknown to humans. So as you read this tablet, you shall have a great understanding of how you became who and what you are today. The first kind of life form on this planet were the evolution of the amoeba, fungus, and algae that lived in underwaters and evolved onto land, which was transported here, which I was saying earlier about the transportation. You're saying, so this, if you go into chapter 1, it goes in more detail about that. Yeah, go ahead, you can ask a question.
What is that over there? What are those?
Which ones?
Both of them.
The two dogs, those are jackals. That in ancient Egypt, they represented Anubis or Nubis or Anpu, the Egyptian god of the afterlife. The Caucasian called the Egyptian god of the dead. So that's what they represent. This is why if you go to funerals, people are always wearing black, right? Mm-hmm. Because they got that from ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Because they were trying to emulate Anubis, thinking it was associated with death, and it's not death. It's just that you cease to exist in your physical form, but you live on after you this body ceased to exist, and you live on to a higher form of life. But in ancient Egypt, when they had funerals, they were dressed in all white. You know what I'm saying? Which is symbolized of death for them. This is why at your weddings, they're not dressed in white. And at their funerals here in the Europeans, they dress in black. But actually it was the other way around.
Okay, that's all I want to ask.
Okay, all right. And with that, I'd like to pass the class over to my brother, Ma'at Atumreye. You need this or straight? Okay. I mean, because the actual facts is on it. You got the actual facts?
Well, I mean, you don't have.
All right.
You go ahead and get that, but I need to. Hats up.
That's up. I have another question from the brother Kansure Amun. He wants to know, how does someone know if they are a golden child?
Okay. First of all, brother, what's his name again? I'm sorry.
Kansure Amun.
Khansure Amun. I would really suggest that you thoroughly read the Golden Children book. The reason being is that book makes it very clear that you wouldn't know if you're a golden child. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, you have to understand something. You have star children and you have golden children. Golden children are not only limited to the Nagaru race, because any Nagaru or those who are of African descent can be a star child. And what qualifies you to be a star child is you are descendants of Panataru, who came here and seeded their seed here on this planet and mixed with the beings here to produce what you see today. We can be a star child, but the golden children is a rare event that takes place, and their purpose is to aid the golden one, or the golden child, who in this day and time is known as Pt.1. You know what I'm saying? And their purpose was to bring the etheric evolution of humanoids on this planet from non-ether up to 10 and 11. So whether or not you're a golden child, you know what I'm saying, you wouldn't know until the golden one makes it clear who you are. Because remember, the golden one was supposed to touch the golden children in 2003. And this is why they came and abducted him during that time, to prevent that from happening. And also, our master teacher made it very clear in the golden children, the different traits that golden children have. A lot of us, we could say, oh, I have that trait. You know what I'm saying? I mean, clearly. But you wouldn't really know. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go into it a little bit so he would have a clearer understanding.
This is the book.
This is the revelation of the Nuwopian Patara called The Golden Children. We're going to start with page 1. Likum, your Haradu children are really not you. They only came through you, your DNA. The golden children started their final incarnation into chosen persons in 1973 AD. This makes two things clear. Number one, they had a mission in 1973 AD, and number two, they've incarnated here before. You know what I'm saying? So that means they come through chosen people started in 1973, on up to 2003. Over a 40-year span of time. No, not all Haradu, which is a nuwopic word for children, not even Nagaru Haradu, Negroid children, only selected ones, not as many as you would think. They don't know who they are themselves. They may feel strange, not of this Kawak planet or cosmos. Many have great Sahamat, which is a nuwopic word for powers, right? To learn, they see things with a third eye, an inner vision. Many separate from others and appear to others to be mentally unbalanced and are called nuts. Insane, crazy, strange, different, or loners. They range in all ages between that time that the last was born in the year 2003 AD. And this is the point going to the brother's question, verse 10. Don't be fooled, and don't fool yourself into thinking you are a golden child, or you gave birth to a golden child. You may be one or many. You may be one and or may have given birth to one. Don't claim it or force it. It started with females who in turn gave birth to males, so that these two would be drawn together to birth golden children. Or wahu kharad, one child, because a male and female has birthed one golden child does not by far mean all their offsprings would be golden children. And I hope that answered the brother's question. You know what I'm saying? If you need more clarity, feel free to go ahead and ask some more questions online. But this makes it very clear. You wouldn't know if you're a golden child. It's up to our master teacher to declare whether or not you are a golden child.
Okay, his third question on the same subject, he wants to know, will the golden children go to risk with the Nataru?
It says, will the golden children?
Yes, he says, will the golden children go to risk with the Nataru?
Okay. I wouldn't know the answer to that question. All I would know is what was given to us by our master teacher is the purpose of the golden children here on this planet and the interaction with the humans here. You know what I'm saying? To bring us from one level to another. Whether or not their journey will take them beyond the stars, it's not up to us to know that. But remember, a golden child can also be a star child. And the star child is claimed by their star parents. And the star parents are none other than Panataru. And Panataru are here to bring their children back home. So it would reason that out for those who are a part of that. But to say, would their journey continue on? I don't have the answer to that question. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Tua. This question is coming from a brother named Bjorn Visaji. He wants to know, how does one know for sure on what etheric level one is resonating on if you're a mixed race? And are mixed races welcome to practice Wu-nuwaupu, seeing that one should qualify to be worthy?
Absolutely. To answer that question, the second question, as far as mixed races, you know what I'm saying? The thing about it is, and we come back to this reality over and over again, we are all mixed here. What declares you a children of the stars or a child of Panataru is your consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Your etheric level is determined by your consciousness. We can go as high as 9 ether. Unfortunately, a lot of us are operating on 7 and 8 at the time, and some of our own people has fallen even down to 6. You know what I'm saying? Our master teacher made it very clear. A person can be dark-skinned, black, blue, whatever you call it, and have the etheric level of a 6 ether beings. Why? Because this is where they resonate on, based upon what's been going on here on this planet with all the intermixing with different species of extraterrestrials, as well as subhumans known as the Mokhasu, who wants to decrease your etheric level from 9, which is the highest, while being physical, down to 6 ether. So being that we are all mixed, being that we all have the venom of Dracula in us, and we know symbolically Dracula is the Mokhasu race, you know what I'm saying? Being that he feeds off of us and has to mix with us to survive, being that that is a fact, and we all are mixed. A person could be very light-skinned, but that doesn't mean that that person is not one of the children of Panataru. You know what I'm saying? If he listens to the voice of our master teacher, if this person is awakened to Panataru or to Wu-nuwaup, then that person has qualified himself etherically. Because remember, again, I point this out again, 9 ether is a combination of all existing gases and conscious gases in nature. What is conscious gases? Think about it. Conscious gases in nature. It's not just what you're physically made out of, but it's also how you wired in your brain or in your mind's eye. You know what I'm saying? So as a mixed person, you would qualify yourself whether or not you're children of the stars. Because we're all mixed in here. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that answered the brother's question.
Okay. We have another question from another online viewer. His name is brother named Dalton Charles. He wants to know, is the Nuwopian language the same as the ancient Egyptian language, or did the master teacher invent it?
He wants to know if the master teacher invented the nuwopic language?
Yes, he says, is the Nuwopic language the same as the ancient Egyptian language, or did the master teacher invent it?
Okay, the nuwopic language today, right? And I say today because if you know anything about the history of the nuwopic language, right? Our master teacher first introduced us to the nuwopic language back in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. Even 95 as far back as that, right? And the thing about it is he introduced it to us in a certain kind of script called the Reptilian script at the time.
I remember that.
You remember that? That's right. It was the first book that came out. Well, it was a few pamphlets that came out first. Then it was a very thick book that came out with many words. A lot of people who read the book, the nuwopic language, assumed that our master teacher took the language and grafted it from Arabic, when in fact, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? And this is what people have to understand. Our conditions here, right? And this is something that I brought up last time I was teaching. The fact is, we were only exposed to so many, so many different levels of teachings. Meaning this, when we were brought here and our language was cut off from us, right? Our pure African language was cut off from us. What were we fed? What were we taught to speak?
English.
English. And we was even denied the right to read and write the language English. Eventually, right, as things began to gradually change here in America, right, we start to be exposed to only the three monotheistic religions, which is Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. And you have to understand that we were in a state of what you call a wannabe, meaning that we have nothing. We were stripped of our dignity, we were stripped of our language, we were stripped of our mentality, and we were forced and fed this way of life, right? This religion, you know what I'm saying, which is alien to us, and this is all we have. This is why we hold on to it with such zeal, right, and put our spiritual energy into it, you know what I'm saying, with such ambition. Because of that, as we start to investigate and go deeper into it, we find out that those languages go back to what you call the Middle East, right? The Arabic language, you know what I'm saying, the Hebrew and the Aramaic language. So our master teacher has to start by giving us what we wanted, so we will learn to want what he has to give. When it came down to nuwopic, right, he had to introduce it to us a certain type of way. But you have to understand that the nuwopic language that we were given was not pure nuwopic, because really consciously, we were not able to even comprehend or absorb pure nuwopic. I personally was brought up in the school of Islam, right, under the guidance of our master teacher at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I was given pure Arabic, or Arabiya Fusha, as it's called, right? And we were also learning Hebrew, but going back to the ancient ones. And if you know anything about languages, all these languages is rooted back to us anyway. So it's like taking a step back, you know what I'm saying, until you get to the pure state again. And we still, in this day and time, are not really learning pure nuwopic. Now, when it comes to nuwopic in this day and time, right, the script is called the Suf script. It's a particular script that we have, that we're dealing with at this moment. The thing about nuwaupu and nuwopic is it's always changing, but it's changing back to its original state. That's what people have to understand again. You know what I'm saying? So at this time, what nuwopic is becoming, or what we're growing into, is pure nuwopic, or the language of tonations again. The brother has to really understand the history of us as Nuwopians and the language. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, our master teacher put a whole update based upon that, because there were people who were actually trying to go against that and saying, oh, Pops took the language from other languages and just made up his own language. Even if he did, right? Look at how much it's benefiting you. And you're giving him more props by saying that he's making up his own language. But he's trying to resurrect something that was lost to us. The language of the universe, our own tones, our own rhythm. Every race on this planet speak their own language except us. We caught up in America or European-like language. French, German, right? Spanish. You know what I'm saying? What about our tongue and our language? Why do we have to go to Arabs and Hebrews, people of Mesopotamia? What about the pure African language of tonation? And there's a difference in the tone of Nuwopic and Arabic. There's a difference in the tone of Nuwopic and English. You know what I'm saying? There's power in there, there's grandeur, there's transformational energy in it. If you know anything about tone, sound, vibration, and how it affects your DNA and molecules. And this is the formula of our master teacher. He's a scientist and we are on the operating table. You know what I'm saying? So he can't give you the full medicine because it can kill you. So he has to gradually feed it to us. Even with nuwopu. You know what I'm saying? The nuwopic language and nuwopu itself go hand to hand. He came with nuwopu in 1963. Were we ready for it?
No.
No, we were not. Right? If we were not ready for the knowledge of nuwopu, what makes you think that we were ready for the knowledge of our pure language again, nuwopic? We would have rejected it offhand because it didn't relate to things that we were familiar with. We were familiar with Islam and we wanted Islam. Right? We were familiar with Judaism and we wanted Judaism and Christianity. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing my best.
I want to know what this sign is and what does it mean?
Okay, that is called the Dengir symbol. And that symbol can be traced to ancient Sumer. It also symbolized Anu, the Most High. Our master teacher didn't give us a lot of information based upon that. At one point in time, before we changed schools, he introduced that symbol and wrote what it was, but he never really expounded on it. But what I will do, I will take that question down, and we could look into it even more. Maybe get the answer from our master teacher. If you give me a moment, let me consult with my brother. Maybe he may know more.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and pass the class on to my brother. He's going to expound more on it. All right?
That symbol is called the Dengir symbol. This is the symbol of the Anunnaki. You know what I'm saying? What happened is we deal with different star systems. You deal with different species, different commands. You feel me? Just like when you look at Christianity, they got the cross. When you look at the symbol of Islam with the star and crescent, that's their symbol, right? When you see the Jews, the six-pointed star, that's their symbol. So what happened is the symbol that you're looking at right there is the symbol of the Anunnaki of Anu. And it represents the two brothers. And how many points there? Hold it up again. I had the build on. I had the paper on it. I just don't have the notes with me right now. I have left my book at home. But the actual, hold the symbol up. That symbol right there is supposed to be Inky Enlil, Anu, and his sister, and I had to go in more detail. But what happened is next week you come through. I had a chart and I'll break it down for you. But I don't have it on me right now. But I know the meaning behind it because Pop broke it down in one of the letters that he wrote years ago.
Right,
But it's a symbol of the Dengir. Are you familiar with who the Dengir are?
No.
Those are the warrior class of the Anunnaki. You know what I'm saying? There's the Shumgal, these are the ones that they were sent out to go to war with the reptilians and stuff like that. And you're dealing with two different races of reptilians that will fight each other. Huh? One of them was the Dracos, and the other ones with the Nomos, or you know what I'm saying, Shumgal. So these different species of reptilians. A lot of people think every reptilian is the same, but if you look inside the holy tablets, you'll see a species of the serpent race. They look totally different than the dragon race that's in the holy tablets. Then they look totally different than the Nomos, and then you have Hatan. He looks totally different. So that show you that 5 different species of reptilians that's in the holy tablets that he show you pictures of. They look totally different.
Do they all come from Orions?
So a lot of them are from Orion. Some are from Meldak, which is here. Some are from Zeta Reticula. Some are from Andromeda. Some are from Aldebaran. Some are what? Draco. Oh, Dracos, yeah. And some are from Pleiades. So you're different species.
So what was this war, about?
Oh, territory. We like your planet. I mean, they were fighting over different spots. If I find your spot and I want it, I was like, I like your spot. Let me have it. No. And they just fight over it. What happened is when the Riskians left Risk and evacuated the planet because of the ozone layer was depleting, right? A lot of them took residence in what you call Pleiades, Taurus, and Mazarus, or some parts of Orion and Sirius, right? These other species that saw them saw how advanced they were in technology. So what they did is that these beings were not warriors, you hear me, by nature. So when they came there, they wiped them out and raped them and took over their technology and started using their technology. So a lot of the technology that the Dracos and them using are nothing but ancient Riskian technology. You know what I'm saying? And they used it. This is what they saw your stuff and like, oh, I like them gadgets. And you still like with a torch in your hand, while this guy got a flashlight. that comes out of his ring, you hear me? And you and you sitting over there with a torch, like, I gotta make fire so I can see what I'm doing. This guy said, oh, don't worry about that. What you need to see? Like, you got your cell phone. If it gets dark, and you just turn your phone on, and like you can see what you got to do. But back in the day, you had to get a little candle, little glass lantern, and you had to walk in there and try to figure it out. And this lasts as long as the oil's in there or to the match can burn out. Now you got a phone that it takes about an hour for it to burn out. You can see all day at nighttime with it. So they saw the technology and they was intrigued by it and they wanted it. And this is what a lot of these wars happen. And also food production. Certain beings saw you as a sandwich. And other beings said, no, you can't eat them. That's not for eating. You hear me? Like, you got a dog. You ever had a dog before?
Yeah.
Did you love your dog?
Yeah.
Now, if you were to go to Chinatown, they love your dog differently. Oh, that's a nice dog you got there, right?
Yeah.
They're not looking at your dog as being cute. They're looking at, that's a nice sandwich you got there. What's your sandwich name? You hear me?
Yeah.
Not saying that all Chinese people eat dog, but that's the part of their culture. You hear me? Mm-hmm. And they look at your dog as a sandwich. But you don't look at your dog as a sandwich, as dog chow mein, you feel me? So the whole thing is that certain species saw you as food, and certain beings said, no, you can't eat them. So a war broke out, a fight. I'm gonna protect them, and the other one said, I'm gonna eat them. So I tend to disagree.
Okay, so can you elaborate on the Pleiadians? Like, are they evil or
Okay.
are they agreeable?
Let me explain to you about evil first. What you consider evil?
Anybody who does wickedness to somebody who...
Okay, what is wickedness?
I think it goes in the same category with evil.
Well, evil, I said, but what you consider, give me a definition of wicked, something wicked. Just name something wicked. Anything.
I can't really think right now.
Are you from the islands?
Yeah.
Where you from, Trinidad?
Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, I can hear it. I can hear the accent. Listen, we hanging out. You got a newborn daughter. She's about 2 years old. You love your daughter. That's your first child. You decide to go to Africa on safari. You want to show your daughter the Africa, the motherland. So you're at the hotel, and your daughter said, "Let's go to the pool." You go near the pool, and this big hyena jumps out, snatches your daughter up, and run off with her. Is that wicked?
I really can't say that's wicked. I think that's survival.
Okay, so that's a nature.
Yeah, that's the nature.
This is what our teachers. This is what our master teacher is trying to get us to the point. You got certain beings, of where they come from. They do things their way, right? But when they come in contact with you, their ways are so extreme that you said, that's wicked. That's evil. Because this is what you've been put in your religious mind about what is bad and good. Now, sometimes they might be so extreme, like, I can't deal with you. I don't need to be around you because you're too disagreeable for me to even look at you. You feel me? But so when you go to the extreme of disagreeableness, you have to say, well, I can't say you're too disagreeable. I'll just say you're wicked and evil. So we took on these terminology because we're speaking English. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's called extremism. Like a person has sex, then you have a person that overdoes it. You have a person who drinks, and then he overdoes it. These are extremes. So when you get to the extremes, you have to use the word good and bad. What's the word for it in our language? Yeah, exactly. Wow and no when? He goes right on the board. So this is when you become extreme. You feel me? So what happened is these beings have certain natures, right? And when you see their nature, you be like, I don't like their nature. This is why in America it's so much racism. Because you got too much different ethnic groups and different species here in America, and you're thinking that you're supposed to coexist. When you got Mandingos living in this part of Mali, then you got the Dogons over here, then you got Salinkas over here. They all in Mali. And then you got the Fulanis down over here. They have what you call territory. This is the village of the Fulanis. But what happened is, when you're dealing with colonialism, they don't look at tribes. They look at it as, you should all be together because you're all under my rule. You hear me?
Yeah.
And now you got Fulanis, Salinkis, and Dogons, and Mandingos or Manding living in the same block now. They don't get along because they have different they different species, and they have a different type of mentality. Because we looking at, they black, they should get along. You know what I'm saying? Black power, you feel me? But it don't work like that. This is tribal thing. This is the thing where they get tribal wars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
tribal
yeah.
wars wasn't a bad thing. It's just that your territory started extending into my area. Now we got beef. You feel me? So the same thing is with species. When you have Caucasians Irish living on the same block as Jewish Caucasians and German Caucasians is a problem.
Yeah, they don't get along.
Because the British Caucasian can't get along with the Irish Caucasians. Because the Irish been suppressing, the British have been suppressing the Irish for so long. Then you get the German Caucasian and the Jewish Caucasian on the same block. Now they got a problem because these guys said, well, you're a bastard. You're not even human to us. And the Jews said, well, we're God chosen. But these guys were here for the German side was exterminating these guys during Hitler's time. You feel me?
Yeah.
So this is the same thing with us. So the Pleiadians are beings that was created by the Draconians millions of years ago. Or that was it, 450,000 years ago? They created the Fugarites? If I'm not mistaken. Exactly. 8,500, I said it earlier, but I forgot. 8,500 years ago, these outer bands were created by the Draconian race as a food source. Then these beings start creating other species. They left outer band and came to a place called Pleiades where they saw the Riskians there and they attacked them. First thing you said, hey, the first thing you say when you see the white man, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And they be like, hey, I like your style. I like the way you dress. And then you come, bro, this is how you open the door. Yeah, thank you. And then, the white man holding the conversation. You talk about sports. You talk about boxing. Hey, what you think about that Michael Jordan? Like LeBron James. And you be like, yeah, LeBron. I talk about all types of statistics. Yeah. And why don't you come over and hang out for the barbecue I happened this weekend? Then you're hanging out. Next thing you know, this is your friend. He becomes your buddy over the years. The next thing you know, he takes your wife and put her in slavery. Not the slavery that you know back in time, the new slavery where your wife disappears, right? Or your daughter disappears and you know, like, I don't know what happened to my wife, my daughter, she gone, and the same friend had your wife kidnapped and now they overseas in El Dubai as a slave to these Arabs. This is what the movie Taken was about. You ever seen the movie with Liam Nelson?
Yeah.
Where they kidnap your people and they next your people, once they hit the market, you can never find them because they move them all to these Middle East countries and they in the houses as sex slaves on drugs and stuff like that. So this is the same technique that the Caucasians used in ancient time when they came to Africa. How we come in peace and we have gifts.
Yeah.
Oh, great chief. Oh, great pharaoh. And what you have for me? And yes, and I would like to take a couple of those women with me, and show my country and show how much gold we got there and all the stuff. And next they being put on a boat and be shipped to the Portuguese and Dutch or Norway and next they created a whole new slave market. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So these Pleiadians did the same thing to our ancient ancestors on Pleiades where they saw them and they turned around and attacked them.
All right, one more question. Besides Malachi New York, why we're not getting like any UFO contacts, like like Caucasians get contacts from the Pleiadians and different.
Oh, great question. Do you want to?
Do I want to know?
No, do you want to be in contact with them?
Yeah.
The same ones that the Caucasians are in contact with?
Nah, not the same ones, but like, for us.
Yeah,
for
what
black
happened
people.
is we already here on the planet Earth.
Oh.
The reason why they are making contact with the Caucasian is because they need them. See, they already know what we are. You hear me? Mm-hmm. The Greys and the Reptilians and Dracos, they know what we are. They know that we were the original beings of this planet, right? Mm-hmm. The Greys don't have the same genetic composition as Nubians or Africans, you hear me? So when they were created, because these were robotoids, right? This is in the book of Man from Planet Risk and also the Mission Earth and the Extraterrestrial Involvement. These two scrolls are very important. These are called Supreme Mathematics. In these books, the master teacher said that these robotic beings, called Romadians, were robotic beings, and they would send them out to explore different places for these beings to go there and colonize, right? Eventually, they became humanoid when they started crossbreeding them with the Pleiades. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Of the planet Earth. These robotoids were bred with us so that they can become more human. You hear me? And the ones that mixed in with the Draconians from Zeta Reticuli became known as the Marcabian, which are half grays, a little bit of human, and Draconian, or Reptilian. You hear me?
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. These Romadians were set free for their services of being loyal to these ancient Anunnaki. You hear me? Mm-hmm. But another species of reptilians saw them and captured them and started altering their bodies genetically, where they destroyed their reproduction system and what's the other one? Their digestive system, meaning that I can't eat unless I go to you. If I want to procreate on my own, I can't do it unless I go to you. And these reptilians tap into their DNA, so if they try to do certain things, they will actually pick up on it. So they were being monitored through their genetics, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what happened is these grays became servants to these reptilians, and they were coming to Earth abducting human beings for experiments, and also for a food source, and scouting out planets to scout out humans or different beings so these beings can eat. You hear me? Mm-hmm. Now, in order for these beings to be able to create their own digestive system again and reproduction organs, right? They had to seek out a being that they use to create them, right?
Yeah.
This is what the age of Adamites, the age of Adamite past is about. When they were creating this new Adamite race, they had to take it from the Ogdok race, crossbreed with the Fugarads, to create your 6,000-year-old Caucasian race, the red and ruddy race, your Adam and your Eve. You hear me? So they needed to find the Caucasians here on Earth because they had the same genetics as the Greys. And this is why they're in contact with them, because they're using them to abduct them. They abduct them because they're trying to figure out, okay, if we take this part of them and this part of them and we create this, and what they're doing is they're creating numerous experiments, right? Exactly, and they're creating numerous experiments on how your body reacts to certain things, so they can figure out the genetic code on how they can crossbreed with you and remove the defects that the reptilians put inside of them. You feel me?
Yeah.
So a lot of these Caucasians are being in contact for malicious, malevolent reasons. Nothing good's coming out of it.
So they taking Caucasian and black people too, or just?
Oh, they only taking you because you acting like them. They don't care about your mixing your genetics. You hear me? They might just eat you for food purposes, because what happened is, because you are a nine-ether being, you're not on the menu. You ever ate something nasty before? Name something that you don't like to eat. Because you're from the islands, it's pretty something in America that you won't eat. Would you eat chitlins? You eat chitlins in the island?
Nah, I don't eat chitlins.
Why?
Because it sounds nasty and it probably tastes nasty.
Yeah, exactly. So this is how the beings that vibrate on 6 ether forces, right? Disagreeable forces, look at Nubians at 9 ether. I can't eat you because you're not digestible to me. As our master teacher, Pt.1 was saying, is that these beings can only eat a disagreeable being that vibrates on the same frequency as them. Because we don't vibrate on the same frequency as them, we're not appealing to them. I don't like you because you don't got enough curry on you. There's not enough jerk chicken in your system. You hear me?
Yeah.
So I don't have no desire to eat dark meat. You hear me?
Okay.
So what the Caucasian does is like, hey, check out this new cologne called Karl Lagerfeld. And you're like, wait, isn't that some white man shit? And you're like, yeah, I'm not trying to put no white man cologne on my skin. Y'all stink as it is. You hear me? Now, you got people like Usher, P. Diddy, and so on, who come up their own line of colognes, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same cologne smell, but they just make it a little bit lighter. You hear me?
A little sauce.
A little bit sweeter, with the same smell, right?
Yeah.
And they call it Usher. And you will buy it and say, oh, this smells good. We'll say, oh, you must got that Usher on. But you still got on Karl Lagerfeld or Cool Waters or Polo Sport, because it's the same smell. You hear me? Mm-hmm. So they just add a little extra drop of this, drop of that, and try to alter the smell a little bit. But if you look at it, it's almost similar. You hear me? Mm-hmm. So now you smell like them. You might not eat certain foods in a restaurant, but then he opened up a restaurant called Houston's, right? Or Usher, or somebody else opened up a restaurant. You said, well, you know what? I'm going to support them because I'm about supporting black businesses, right?
Yeah.
But now you're still eating their food, but it's a black face on it. So what happened? The Caucasian couldn't get you to do it willingly at first, right? So now, because you know what happened, we have a thing called soul food. We just take the scraps from the master's table and create a new type of style with it, right? But it's still Caucasian food. It's the worst part that you just put some vinegar, some salt and pepper, a little spice on it, and you made it better than what they did it, right?
Yeah.
With nothing, you know what I mean? So now you're eating their foods, you smell like them, you wear their clothes, right? Because you look at the clothes, like the jacket you got on is only for going up inside the mountains. The boots you got on is for construction, but they made it stylish. Jeans are for if you're on the ranch and you're a cowboy, because jeans are not used for anything else. They use it for on the horse and for wrestling up herds. You hear me? So now you're in a confusion of, you think you got style, but you're dressing like them. You hear me? And then you speak their language and you pray to their God. So now you're bringing your 9 ether down from 9, 8, 7, 6. Now the more you're going down, the reptilian might walk past you, don't have pay you no mind. The next thing you know, like, hey, wait a minute. That nigga smell kind of good now. You hear me? So now you're being picked up. Now they can smell you because you smell like a Caucasian. Now you're black Caucasian. You're dark. The dark meat tastes like white meat now. That's why they said the pig is the what? The other white meat. So what was the first white meat? The Caucasian race. And this is why they told them not to eat pork, because you were supposed to use those pig parts as replacement parts for any organ that went out inside your body so you can preserve the food longer.
All right. What is the creation force? Like, what it is really? Is it?
You said the creation what?
Force? Is it like a big celestial mind, or?
Okay, this is where Wu-nuwaup comes in. We have a series called the God series that the master teacher wrote years ago, right? We got to get out of the supreme being stage of life. Because when you say creation force, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ilion El, and Nu, you hear me? We're still stuck in this one being that created everybody. But where did he come from? And who created him? And we can keep going on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
But when you deal with the ancient Egyptian mind, all is. You understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Everything is a part of the all. There's no celestial thing about it, because your celestial being exists within the all. Because the celestial being can't be the all and say, well, let us go down and see what man is doing when you're supposed to be omnipresent. After Adam questions like, who told you were naked when you're supposed to be omnipresent, all-knowing? You feel me? This is the mind state that got you. They got you in this vast form of spookism, which is a part of the spell. Person, places, and things. When you deal with papa, it doesn't deal with that because it's all is. You hear me? So it's the creative force will be you, because you're in the center of your own universe. Before you became a physical manifestation, you were a conscious gas that existed in air pockets in the boundless universe, what you call dark matter and dark energy. You know what I mean? Because you're only using 7% of your brain and you're in a physical form. You're limited. You know what I'm saying? So what happened is, once you get back to the state, you realize that there is no creative force because there is no creation. Everything exists. When you say with create, that means where would you get it from if you created it, if it's already existing?
So basically,
There's no such thing as
before us.
There's no such thing as creating something from nothing in the sense of religious terms.
Okay.
But you can create something from nothing according to scientific terms. Because the word something comes from this word. And when you get a chance, kind of cool, I'll give you posters up online too. I'm trying to get to the marker of this thing so quick. Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
I can only see because it's glare.
One says something, and the other thing says something, the other one says nothing, and the other one says no thing. When you're dealing with the periodic chart, the first two elements is hydrogen, helium, right? As our master teacher said on the tape called Egyptian Ma'at, he breaks down how H1 and H2 actually goes on the other side of the etheric plane, dealing with E1 and E2. You hear me? Meaning that when you look at the atom is composed of zealots, quartz, and biaps, right? These are things that doesn't even take up, or what's the word I'm looking for? It has no weight. Huh? Detection. They can't detect it because it has no weight. That means that it's nothing. Because the only way you can sum something up as a thing is about what? Weight and matter. You feel me? Yeah. Because these biaps, zealots, and quartz are not having any type of atomical weight or anything like that. It ends up as nothing. That's why Pop said in the old doctrine, he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a state of nothingness to create something. You hear me? He took something out of a state of nothingness, meaning that when we talk about the state is in the etheric plane. You feel me? On the other side, the Christians who don't understand quantum science, the ancient Egyptians will call it the spirit, the soul, the ether, the akh, the akhat. You feel me? So now, when you say no things, that means that it doesn't mean that it don't exist. It just doesn't exist in a physical realm.
Okay, okay.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But once it starts manifesting in the physical realm and start taking on matter or weight, then you call it a sum of things.
And that's when everything slows down.
Exactly. Vibrations, tones, frequency.
So basically everything is made from sound.
Everything everything is not made from sound. Everything is made from darkness. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you call dark energy or dark matter. It's just that when it takes on form, or what you call consciousness, it slows down in vibration, right? And when it slows down in vibration, it takes on different forms. It could be hard as metal, it could be brittle as glass, or it could be fluid as water. You feel me? But it's still matter. Gas, liquid, solids. You hear me?
Yeah.
But it's all dealing with matter, and you're dealing with different vibrations of matter. You feel me? Because sound comes from light. But light comes out of darkness because it's dealing with the spark. And what happens when that spark reaches the atmosphere of any planet, the radiation or the rays of that sun will cause friction in the atmosphere and give you the illusion of light or a form of energy that you cut. Oh, that's light. So when you see that right there, that's not light. That's radiation hitting your eyes so you'll be able to see in the darkness.
All right, last one. I'm sorry, but
Yeah, go ahead. So you can ask me questions you want. That's what we're here for, brother.
cool. True meditation, like how can I actually tap into self, like real self?
With that, I'm going to pass the question over to my brother, Ma'at Aket Atumreye. You heard a question?
That's that, brother.
Yeah, how you doing?
Would you mind repeating the question?
Yeah, true meditation, like how can I tap into self, like real self? Like start, like start acknowledging it. Start, I guess, yeah, acknowledging it.
Understood. By the mere fact that you're asking a question, is the realization that you are aware that there are higher aspect to yourself or divine aspect to yourself, correct?
Yeah.
Now, the first thing you have to understand about meditation is the art of concentration. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is you must be aware of